Have you ever seen the aftermath of an accident and you're like, how did that happen? Or have you ever been in an accident and thought to yourself, how am I going to convince somebody that this is really what happened? Enter the dash cam. So here's how it comes in the box. This is how mine came in the box. In case you didn't know, the most expensive way to get a product is to agree to get a free product to do a review on it in exchange for the product. That's what I did for the VanTrue camera, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about it. I like the camera overall. I think that it's a decent product. It has a nice heavy-duty case. We'll go over to the points of the case on it. This is a review video. But it's got the power button, it's got a reset button, which I had to use, and I was actually really happy to have it. I didn't have to do any phone tricks of holding special stuff down. I like that. It's got an HDMI port so you can play it on your TV. You've got your little TF card or micro SD card. These little guys, you've seen these before. Make sure that when you put a USB card in this, or a micro SD card, I'm sorry, make sure that it's got that little circle in the 10 on it, and maybe the I and the 1 in the bucket, whatever that is. It's got to be a high-speed, highfalutin card, or else it's just not going to work. 4 gigs is probably not enough. Yes, this does do a loop, but you can use it up pretty fast, especially if you save a few files by hitting that lock button. What lock button, you ask? This lock button right here. If you're cruising along and you're recording, watch what happens when you hit the lock button. Bam, you get a little thing. So this saves it in a different thing that won't loop over. In case you don't know what looping is, you have little packets, and you can have them 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. You can go into your settings in your menu right here. You got to hit OK to get it to quit recording. So go into menu, and you can see where it says loop recording right there. If I were to put something black in front of this, it would show up better. So you see where it says loop recording. So you click OK, so you go in there and you can have it be, as I said, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or off. The menu buttons are great. They feel solid. I really like that about this. There's a lot of good things on this camera. But like I say, doing a review in exchange for a camera is a stupid way to get a camera. Frustrations. We'll get to those in a minute. But first of all, the languages that are available on this thing. The languages are, as it says right here, English, Chinese, Mandarin Chinese. I think that's what these are. I really don't know. And Russian. If you know anything about watching dash camera videos on YouTube, you will know that the Russians and the Chinese have the craziest dash camera things. Also on the back of this thing it says, any thoughts? Got any thoughts on the product? We're always working our best to improve the product and service quality and user experience. If you have any thoughts on improving the product, please feel free to let us know via Amazon messaging, yada yada yada. So the people that have been testing this are Russians and Chinese. They know what it takes to have a good dash camera. So anyway, like I say, the buttons, the menus are so easy to work through. There are a lot of features on this camera. If you look at the box, this is what it looks like. On the side, you've got the 2.7-inch display, which is great. It actually works pretty good. Say you want to go play back a video or something. Yeah, let's see. It always wants to record, so if you're worried about something not recording when you want it to, don't worry about this one. So you can go into delete your files. The nice thing about it is that you've got the event folder, like I say, where if you hit the lock button while you're cruising down the road, you're like, something just happened, let's save that. I don't want that to loop over, but I want to keep recording. You can do that. So you can go into your event video one or your normal video one and go through here. The playback, I don't remember exactly how to do it, but it was pretty simple. Yeah, so there's your playback. You can go to an event video. We'll just say that one. See if we can find the one we did earlier today where we had the helicopters fly by. Yeah, so there was some Apache helicopters that were doing drills and stuff. That was really cool. And if I want to have it flip back to me, I can flip it back to me, and you see that the camera adjusts pretty quickly. As far as the quality of the camera, it's pretty high quality. It does a good job. Is it perfect? Is it everything and more that you could ever want out of a GoPro or some type of professional production camera? No, it's not. It's a dash camera. It's meant to be a hands-off, low budget, but high performance product. So that's basically what it is. So I'm explaining why you got to do a dash camera. I think that introduction was pretty good for that, but if somebody cut you off, you got to be able to prove that they cut you off before you hit them instead of you just hitting them. And this is a good way to do it. What if they take off? Well, you're going to get their license plate number because you have high dynamic range, which means you can see in low light conditions. It's not going to wide out the picture. You can do a 1080p by 1920. That's really wide. Doing it 2560 by 1080p, 30 frames per second, yada yada yada. Automatically shuts off when you turn the key on. It automatically turns on. It's just super easy to use. The little locking mechanism for the suction cup is awesome. Look at this thing. Just really sucks down and just locks into position. It's got a little tab to pull it off. The cable is really long so that you can reach around and get it mounted how you want it. When you look at the instructions, you plug it in, and then there's plenty of cable to go behind the dash, up around the A-pillar, across the headliner, tucked in behind everything to the camera. And also, another convenient thing is that the microphone is right at the bottom, so that when you have it mounted that way, you can speak and narrate and put it on the soundtrack how you want it. Some of the things that just drove me crazy with this thing, I've put way too many hours into this and way too much frustration, put it on the back burner. I am up, right now, seriously, it's 12:20. I'm so tired. I had food poisoning. I was up all night last night, so I'm really cranky, so bear that in mind. I don't know why the free product reviews always seem to land. It's just frustrating. So, frustrations, here's the deal. You have this super long cable, and that's great, and they provide you with your own little USB thing that plugs into the cigarette lighter, 1 amp or 2.1 amp, so that's handy. You can charge your phone and run this at the same time in your car. You don't have to lose your phone charger capabilities. But I'll tell you what you don't get with this cable, and that is a USB cable. I mean, yes, it says USB, you know, or it's got the USB symbol on both ends of the cable, but no, this is not a USB cable. This is a power cable, and that's it. When I tried to hook this up to the computer and get the files to go across, it wouldn't go. And so what I ended up having to do is use one of my old phone chargers from my phone. And this is a USB cable, and it's got the same connection. Another thing that I like about this cable is a 90-degree, but I wish that instead of having it on the bottom, and I know I'm all over the place, but I'm just trying to wrap this up and get it done. You know, I'm not getting paid to do this, but dash cameras are, I've got a passion for it, I'll just say that. See, goodbye, because I unplugged it, turned off automatically. Good boy, you know, good camera. I like that it's at a 90-degree angle on the cable, but I do not like that it plugs in at the bottom. I don't want this hanging down. I mean, yeah, you can loop it up over your mirror and all that kind of stuff, but just put it in the top. I mean, would it be that hard? I don't know. Some other things, the packets and the looping. So packets, organize it into little folders of 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. As you said, you set that for yourself how you want it. But when you click the thing here to save the file, you don't know, say this is an event and this is a packet. You don't know where it's going to be in there. What I would like to see happen is in law enforcement, when you turn your lights on, it saves 30 seconds before. And you know, these are expensive, nice systems with DVRs. I mean, these are, you know, $1,000 or better. This is like $120. You can get it on sale right now for 20 bucks less if you want to do this one. I'm not saying you have to do this one. I like it. I would probably do it again. But back to the packets, you don't get to pick where it is. So if you hit that button and you're almost to the end of that packet, almost to the, say you're set for 3 minutes and it's 2 minutes 55, then it's going to be right there that it saves it. So you'll have to wait for a long time till it's to that point. And if you're trying to show somebody on the side of the road, you know, look, officer, this is what happened, you know, it's not going to be there. I'd rather it position it, bam, right in the middle of the 3-minute packet. Move the buffers, do what it takes, you know, but I guess it doesn't have the processor. It's a huge pain because they didn't do it that way. How does it do at night? It does great at night. Let me show you a little night footage here.
Tree Valley, confirm. 2337.
You can see there that dispatch was saying that the timestamp was at 37 minutes past the hour, and the clock on this thing's great. You can have it show the date and the time, or just the time, or just the date, time, and a driver profile. I mean, there's just so many cool little things that you can do with this. There's a lot that you can go and to the instructions and find out all kinds of information on what resolution, how long the resolution's going to last. I mean, it's just got all kinds of cool stuff. What the blue light and the red light means. Red light means that it's charging. Video recording's the blue light flashing. Power on or off's the blue light. Say you've got, I've got a 4 gig card, and it's kind of okay. It's enough to do the review video, but let me show you a video of a dog running in front of me on the motorcycle. Here's me going down the highway on the motorcycle. Here's a trip to the post office on the motorcycle. Basically, I did a whole bunch of motorcycle stuff. I did do some footage of, like I say, with the car. I did some at night when I was on patrol. When people hunt raccoons, what the heck do they do with them other than make a hat? Are they any good to eat? No. I did, and the motorcycle is just not good, in terms of the sound. So that's why the sitar music or no sound at all. This microphone is just, there's no foam over it. It's not made for wind. It's made to be dash mounted, but heck, I wanted to try it on the bike. Why not? I got a big windshield to mount it to. You might as well try it. So this is gonna conclude my review of the VanTrue on Dash R1 Pro. It's got a heavy duty metal case. It has fantastic specs. The HDR, the high dynamic range, so that it doesn't just white out and just have everything go white when the sun's shining in it, is great. You open the garage door, you can actually see what's out in front of the camera. So that's all I have to say about this. If you want to get one, I'm going to leave a link in the Amazon, whatever, in the doobly-doo to show more down below. If you click show more, I'm going to have a code that you can enter, and when you're checking out on Amazon, it'll give you 20 bucks off. So I don't know how long that sale is going to go on for, but they asked me to take that little sale coupon down. Maybe it'll work in the future, or you can search for a more recent one. I think they just give that code to whoever's doing the review. I just want to hook you up. I appreciate you watching my videos. Be sure to subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. I do a great video, automotive related, as if this wasn't. Every Sunday I do a cut and polish nice video. Every Wednesday I typically do a video of just whatever the heck I want to do. If I get an opportunity like this, I'm kind of new to this whole, review stuff for free. I didn't realize it would be such a pain in the neck. Speaking of pain in the neck, I said that this cable is not a USB cable. You have to provide your own. Other pain in the neck stuff, the buffering of where this is going to land at on your saved event folder. Another thing that was a pain in the neck is this will not play on Windows Media Player, and it doesn't play on QuickTime or Flash or whatever it was. Well, when you hook this up to your computer, all you get is a sound file, and that's a huge pain in the neck. In order to view it, I have to put it in my video edit software. When I tried to do this, I did a really nice job editing everything just great, but every time I do the footage on the video editing software, it'd crunch it down. This records this beautiful, beautiful Super HD 2560 by 1080, 30 frames per second. That's panoramic. That's like fills out the whole screen like this. But when I put it into the video editing software, it just crunched it. It just smashed it into a tiny box. It looked terrible. So I had to refilm the whole thing so that I could just do it in a concise fashion. So that's why I sound like I'm just, cranking it out there. As far as the unbox goes, I'm not going to do an unbox. I mean, you know, this thing's awesome. I showed you that. I showed you this. I showed you this. Instructions. That's all you get. Mine, when I unboxed it, I will say that it comes in a little thing like that that's supposed to hold it in place. Mine was rattling around pretty bad, for whatever that's worth. Anyway, that's it. Take it or leave it. I'm keeping it. I like it. I wanted to give this away as a prize, but I'm going to stick it in the back window of my car. I don't know how to do contests. I'm just going to level with you. You know, like I've given out gift cards. I've sent people stuff in the past, you know, when I see them in the comments all the time. And maybe that's playing favorites or whatever. But if you guys have some ideas for a contest, I would love to hear them. I just hate being the guy that's not fair, or I don't know. It's just, how do you do a contest? I don't know. That's it. I jump into things like this. Yeah, sure, I'll do a review. You know, it'll be a piece of cake, but then 10 hours, 12 hours later, you know, for a $120 camera, I put in all this work, and now I'm redoing it. What a pain in the neck. And a lot of it was just that format problem, where it's a format that's not recognized by QuickTime Player, Windows Media Player, and then just the cable not being right and having to dig up another one from my old phone. And then like I said, with the editing and squishing the stuff down. Good gosh. I bet if I just did it on the Apple computer, it probably would have been fine. Live and learn. Bonus footage. Some people want to know about that Polaris that's going on in the garage, so here's what's the deal. Here we have that Polaris RZR. I'm just throwing this in as a bonus footage thing at the end. Going to the back of the vehicle where the engine is. You can see that it was pretty burned up. The oil left a bunch of staining and stuff. You can tell it really got hot. If you couldn't tell from there, you could look on the back side of the head, and you see it's just pancake syrup all the way down from these hoses here. That one's stuck to it. It's cooked. So the thermostat's fine. I pulled it out from this end of the block, or cylinder head, and I don't see anything to indicate that the thermostat failed. I'm gonna boil test it, and I'll let you know on that later. But the big thing that is just a smoking gun is the impeller. I mean, the impeller is just goo. It's a plastic impeller inspired by Volkswagen, and it just came apart. It's just a gooey mess. Like, it's a composite glue. It's like super glue and ABS plastic. Ground up ABS plastic is what it reminds me of. So anyway, without the circulation of the coolant, the thing overheated. Once it overheated, then it dropped the valve guide. So this is the exhaust valve here. This is the intake valve. You can see the intake's kind of got this narrow port, and then the exhaust ones are to the outside. So these are the two exhaust valves, here and here. So when you look at this one, you can see inside that you can see that's way too fat to be a valve stem. So that's basically a valve guide that's dropped. So once the valve guide drops, then the valve can't go all the way back up. And if the valve can't go all the way back up, then the piston comes up and hits it. And that's where you get all the mechanical damage that we saw in the last video. For those of you that didn't catch the last video on the FASTEC, this is what the damage looked like in the cylinder from the other one. You can see where there's been something that's just really been banging around in there and dinging the top of the piston up pretty good. You can see a bunch of deformation there. And then there's just little pieces of hardened steel, you know, either a valve or piston ring or something like that. So you can see a little nick in the top of the piston. We're about to look at a big chunk of something that's been bouncing around in there and just wreaking havoc on things as we come around here. Where is it? There is it. It's right there. So, man,